Hello, I'm Toby. I'm the wine bar for Burgundy.
And I'm Gil from the Tastings and Events team.
And together we're going to go through 6 wines which are in the tasting kit, which supports the Bordeaux Burgundy offer, which is current now. Just one point I might make on serving white Burgundy. I think white Burgundy is often served too cool, and it also benefits from oxygen, from decanting if you can. There's a saying that the last glass of white Burgundy from a bottle is the best. And it's not just the fact that everything seems rosier and more optimistic after you've consumed a little bit of alcohol, but that the wine has warmed up and the ullaged bottle has allowed some oxygen to develop the flavours. So if you can, try and serve at 12 degrees, decant if you're getting a full bottle, perhaps just half an hour before you start. And I think you'll find that the wine develops and improves in the glass. So why wait to the last glass, decant and enjoy the first glass. We're going to kick off with the first wine, which is Sylvain Pataille's Marsannay Blanc, 2021 vintage. I buy very few Chardonnays from the Côte de Nuit, which is where this is, because most of them are on clay soils and they're too round. This one, though, however, is very, very good in my view. It's the level of things like Auxey. It's made by Sylvain Pataille, who I think who's a genius. I use that word advisedly. He makes red, rosé and white of exceptional qualities. And this is an oak-aged wine. It has a very restrained, sort of melony, appley nose. And I think it's very vertical. It has great length, which is my criticism sometimes of Côte de Nuit wines grown on clay soils. They're too round. But this, I think, for me, it has a lot of retention and length.
It has that, well, as you say, tension, but that precision, focus, and a real drive. It's got a wonderful balance, great structure, very mouth coating, lots of flavour.
So there's this vertical, this length and precision, which I think goes so well with really good seafood, poultry. There's a little bit of wood, but you hardly notice it. I think it's a great wine.
So for our second wine, we're going much further south to the region of Saint-Véran in the Marsannay. The producer here is Château de Beauregard. It's run and owned by the Burgundy family. They're 17 generations strong in this region, over 5 centuries, I believe. They acquired this particular estate in the 1850s, so they're now 7 generations strong in Château de Beauregard itself. And it's a wonderful expression. I always find with Burgundy, with white Burgundy, as we travel that little bit further south, the wines for me start presenting slightly more riper fruit. We get a little bit more melon and some of those more stone fruit characters, but this still has a great freshness and sort of vivacity of citrus and green fruit as well, and orchard fruits. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think it's a cool vineyard in a warm climate. So you get that lovely freshness which you were referring to. It's sort of more yellow than white fruit. It's sort of plums, melons, as you were saying. But it has a certain tension as well, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah. As I'm taking a sip there, it's filling the mouth again. There's a roundness. There's a wonderful sort of suppleness in the wine. It's very generous.
Yeah, as you were saying, it has that lovely balance because, in fact, it's a relatively cool vineyard. So you get a certain generosity, but also a certain tension, freshness, and length. And I think it's very good value. It's much cheaper than the Puy-Frisés, which are the top of the tree. So Saint-Véran has a very good place, I think, in terms of value for money, as one of the best crus of the Marsannay, but slightly cheaper than Puy-Frisé. We're now about to taste Domaine William Fèvre, Premier Cru Voleron Chablis, 2017. And the interesting thing about this vineyard, Voleron, is it's right next to Preux, which is a Grand Cru. So it's fantastically situated next to the Grand Crus. It's planted on Kimmeridge clay soils, which gives us a certain breadth and depth that you get from the Grand Crus, but at a slightly cheaper price. And 27 was a lovely cool year, and I think this is a wine that has breadth as well as length and a lovely freshness.
Mm-hmm. And at this domain, they use oak barrels, am I right? But it's old oak barrels, sort of 6 years and older, so we're not looking for new oak with these wines.
Exactly. I think Chablis is very easy. It's a very subtle wine, mineral. It's very easy to over oak. So as you say, they use wines, the barrels between 1 and 10 years, so an average of 5. They ferment the wines, I think, in tank, and then they put them into barrel for about 6 or 8 months. And the idea is to just develop the flavours without getting too much oak flavour.
Yes.
This is a wine that I would try and serve about 12 degrees if you can. Quite difficult because the fridge is 6 and essentially heated room is 12, but 23. But try and serve around 12, and also if you're having a full bottle, decant it, and the wine will grow and improve in the glass.
So our next wine brings us again further south, and Toby, you mentioned previously, areas within Burgundy for fantastic quality and value, and I think Auxey de Rest, where we are with our fourth wine, is for me one of those regions where you can get fantastic quality. Its borders Meursault on one side. I think Volnay is not too far away on the opposite, and this is Auxey de Rest from Olivier Leflaive. This is the 2021 vintage, and Olivier Leflaive, and in the Leflaive hands, you're going to get quality wines. And I think you get that in spades here. It's very similar to that rich, opulent style of Meursault, but there's an extra restraint to it. There's an elegance within. It doesn't go quite as rich in style, but it certainly, for me, is punching towards that quality.
Yes, as you say, it's sort of like a similar wine to Saint-Aubin, if you like, which is next to Puligny, which is like, if you like, a baby Puligny. And this, in a sense, is a sort of baby Meursault, as you say. These vineyards, which include Les Auxey and Fèvre, they come just where the vineyards turn slightly to the north, which 20 years ago would have produced wines which perhaps didn't quite ripen. But in today's climate, I think you get this lovely tension and freshness. Yes, I think, as you said, a little bit, not quite as rich as a Meursault, but with a lovely tension and freshness. And I think it's a tiny appellation, so it's difficult to buy, but I think it's a lovely wine. So we're now tasting Olivier Leflaive, Puligny Montrachet, Les Enseigneurs, 21 vintage. So here we're right in the heart of the Côte d'Or, the Côte de Beaune, the area, the great triumvirate of Puligny, Chassagne, and Meursault, which produce some of the greatest wines in the Côte d'Or. And Puligny is a wine that actually is really quite elegant, perhaps more floral. If Meursault is more buttery, this is a little bit more floral with a lovely tension. It's a sort of less is more wine, I would say. Okay. It's barrel fermented, but not with a lot of new oak. So you just get a little bit of new oak, a little vanilla note. But it's more honeysuckle, floral, hint of honey. And again, this lovely vertical drive, this length and freshness that I think makes it such a good companion with food.
And is there a little sort of crystalline, there's a little salinity or something that I'm picking up in there? That might be the acids or the mineral tone, and that lift that you sort of mentioned or touched upon, without that richness, but that precision.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's sort of like a crystalline purity, a sort of length and elegance. Drier, slightly drier than Meursault, but without austerity.
Yes. So for our final wine, we are returning again to the south of Burgundy, to one of the flagship regions of Puy-Fussé, with Domaine Cordier or Famille Cordier, founded in 1945. Christophe Cordier now heads up, I think it's something about 120 different plots of Chardonnay vines across the region, but mainly in that Puy-Fussé region. And this particular expression, this is a Premier Cru vineyard, one of several that were crowned Premier Cru vineyards back in 2020, so a relatively new Premier Cru site. And it offers tremendous quality, tremendous precision focus. So this particular area is on an east to west orientating valley. This particular vineyard is more east facing, a very rich, very powerful wine from quite a warm amphitheatre kind of site here. And you get a lot of that power in the wine, on the nose and on the palate. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, there are quite a lot of different terroirs in Puy-Fussé, which range from things like Vercras, which is very limestone, very mineral. But this really is one of the most powerful ones. It's in this amphitheatre in Fuissé. It's east facing, which catches the morning sun. And it's got a lot of clay soils, which gives real depth and structure. And in a warm year like 23, it actually retains quite a lot of water. Mm-hmm. So you get really quite a powerful, buttery wine, which is extremely intense and opulent, but not top heavy or overly rich.
A fantastic wine, I think, to finish this tour, if you will, of White Burgundy, as much as we can do a tour with just 6 wines, but it's been fabulous to taste through these, to talk with yourself, Toby. I hope you've enjoyed tasting these wines and following along with our ramblings and our conversation throughout the course of this video. All of these wines are on the website. If you'd like to know more about these wines or indeed other White Burgundies that we have available, do please visit the website there or contact us for any more information. And we very much look forward to seeing you again soon.